Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. Today I would like to show you how to recreate at home the star of every Chinese takeaway, prawn toast. The idea first came to me when we were in America and we had prawn toast in this Chinese restaurant that I mentioned in our Vegas vlog, and it was like, wow, so this is how it should look and taste like. And then I made it at home and there was no going back. We're all still living in lockdown and it's not much fun. So why don't we have some fun and make something amazing? I promise you, if you try and make it at home, you will never order prawn toast again. Let's begin. To make Culinary Haven prawn toast, we'll need 200 grams of raw prawns, peeled and deveined, a piece of ginger, a small clove of garlic, 3 sprigs of spring onion, 1 large egg, a teaspoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of oyster sauce. If you don't have oyster sauce, then 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, half a teaspoon of chili flakes. I use Korean chili flakes, they're not too hot and very fragrant. Half a teaspoon of white pepper and half a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil and some sesame seeds. And of course we'll need some bread, about 6 slices or so, depends on the size of the slices. I advise you to use dense bread, not just a supermarket pan loaf. It tends to soak up all the oil. I'm using my own a little bit modified sourdough bread. I just made it denser by reducing water in the recipe. But you can buy a dense bread. For example, Aldi supermarket, they do sourdough bread and it's very dense, or Scottish Mother's Pride. And now we'll need to chop everything into a bowl. It won't be a huge amount, so a medium-sized bowl. We'll start with prawns. You can, if you wish, you can blitz them in a food processor or a chopper. I prefer doing it by hand. I don't want a paste. I want small pieces, so very finely chopping of the prawns. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not a big deal. It's only 200 grams. So I cut them in half, like opening them like this, and then each half cut in half lengthwise. Same again with the second half. Put it all together and just very finely chop it. This way, preparing them gives the best texture. And also doing it this way by hand, chopping them and cutting them in half first, ensures that if there is anything left inside, you can see it and remove. You can't see that if you do it in the food processor. So that's another advantage of doing it by hand. And the last one. That's it. And now I'll wash my prawn hand and we'll continue. Next, in no particular order, the vegetables. We'll start with ginger. I use a lot. This is a huge amount of ginger for this little amount of prawns. I love ginger and it's just no harm. But if you would rather have a little bit less, about this size, half of your thumb. slice it very thinly. Ginger is very good for you. It's a super vegetable. That's it. And the same with this small clove of garlic. Just mince it. The spring onion. Cut it lengthwise, once or twice, as smaller pieces as possible. Do your best. And then just chop it across into very small pieces. So all the chopping is done, and now the seasoning. Well, I like to mix it with a fork. It's the distributes all the ingredients and mixes them together best. Now a teaspoon of soy sauce. I do not add any salt. Both soy sauce and oyster sauce are very salty. I advise you to first try and do it without any salt. And like I said, if you don't have oyster sauce, then you can use then you can add 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. Half a teaspoon of chili flakes. Like I said, Korean chili flakes are my favorite. Not terribly hot and very, very fragrant. And half a teaspoon of white pepper. Also very fragrant. Half a teaspoon, for me, half a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. If you wish, you can put a whole teaspoon. And the egg. We don't need the whole egg, so we're using half of this egg. We need to beat it so it's very loose, very thin. We need half of the beaten egg to bind all the ingredients, and the other half we will just coat the prawn toast when it's ready to go to the pan. Take your time. Make sure when you are beating the egg that there is no big lumps like this. Just whisk it until it's very thin. And add this to your mixture. It will be 3 tablespoons. Half of the egg, and then just mix it all together very well. It smells amazing. This is it, and now we're going to cover it and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes or so. More if you need, but at least 30 minutes to infuse and a little bit firm up. The egg will bind the ingredients. And now it's time to prepare our prawn toast. First, the bread. We need to cut off all the crust, making a square out of each slice, and then cut each slice in half, making the traditional triangle. Like I said, if you can, use dense bread. It will make all the difference. Then the bread won't be soggy and claggy. Now let's make the toast. And now we take each bread triangle and put plenty of our beautiful spread on top, covering the whole surface of the slice. Thick, like 1 centimeter thick, maybe even more. There, like this, and carry on until it's all gone. See how many we've already made, and it's just 1 pack, 200 grams of prawns. And it's not just the amount of prawn toast, it's the quality, the flavor. Wait till you taste it, it's just incredible. As you can see, a very, very generous amount of prawn filling on top of the bread slices. And now with the remaining half of the beaten egg, we're going to brush each slice, sealing the filling. It will seal it, and it will also help for the sesame seeds to stick on top. And now we'll sprinkle sesame seeds generously. And they will all stay in place. And now we'll cook them, shallow fry them. We need oil and a frying pan. Ideally, groundnut oil. If you don't have that, any vegetable oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, any oil except olive oil. Oil with high smoking point. That's it. Let's cook them. Make sure the oil is hot. It's not too much oil, so it's about, give it 3 minutes to heat. With prawns on top. Carefully, don't burn your hands, very carefully lower them into the pan. And cook them for 2 minutes exactly. And now carefully turn them over. Don't worry, they will not break or fall apart. The filling will stay on. Just quickly turn them. And cook for another 2 minutes. Time is up. Let's dish them out. Perfect. Look. On a kitchen towel lined plate. And the same with the second batch. That's them all fried and ready. And we'll let them cool for a minute. And prepare the dipping sauce. Or dressing, because today I'm serving them with this salad made with Chinese leaf, spring onion, cucumber and radish. And the dipping sauce or the dressing will be a mixture in equal measures of soy sauce, black Chinese vinegar. If you don't have that, malt vinegar will do, and a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. I'm using this cup. My husband brought it for me from China. He brought this tea set, so I can have tea from a cup of this size, but for a dipping sauce, very lovely. Now I'm just going to drizzle this sauce on top of our salad and sprinkle some toasted sesame seed on top. I just toasted them very lightly in a frying pan. That's it. And now everything is ready. Let's taste them. I'll just break it and show you what it looks like inside. It's packed with prawns, packed with flavor, absolutely irresistible. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, bye.